Alright, here we are, Canadian junkyard. Okay, pro tip here. Hey everybody, welcome back to your favorite YouTube show, Fixing Random Crap with Craig. We found this in the garbage. This is a 2016 Lamborghini. What a ride. Got my helpers here ready to get to work on troubleshooting what is wrong with this thing. It seems to have a lot of features. It's got headlights, RC or manual mode, a volume button. There's an MP3 in on it.
Let me check
drive.
Let me
This
check
here is
Daddy, look. Daddy, where do I go?
27.145 megahertz. And there's a key, which we do not have. It's a 2016.
Daddy, I want to see.
And, yeah, we're going to take you along for the ride as we try to figure out if we can get this thing going.
Yeah.
Here we go. You guys going to help out?
I can't even see it.
You going to help?
I can't even see in.
Well, here, we got to flip it over. Hi. Watch where you're going. Okay, folks, as you can see from that last clip, it is fixed. How did we fix it? It turned out to be the battery. So, as I said in that clip just before the demo of success, the voltage in this battery here seemed to be going down, seemed to be losing power. I've come to realize, I'm no battery expert or power expert by any stretch of the imagination, but I have a feeling that this battery is not made the same as this battery. Talks here about initial current on it being like less than 2.1 amps. So I got a feeling that this battery has the ability to get this car going, where this doesn't have the same sort of power to get it started. Don't know. I haven't researched that at all. But what I can tell you is that when I went and bought a new one of these, it fixed it. So the company, like to look at actual replacement parts for these things, this battery was going to be like $50 to $60 US plus shipping. Like by the time I got it to the Great White North here in Canada, probably would have cost me $100. I found a replacement on a generic battery site. I'll put a link in the description to where I got it. But it was like $16, and got it shipped here for under 35 Canadian. I think it was so $35 total to fix this thing up. I got a few, I had bought this, that was $15 as well, and then I made some of my cables and things. Those cost a few dollars, but those are going to be reusable. So yeah, we're back in business. I'm going to try to put something at the start of the video or in the description as well to really look at your battery. This is the old one. You will see right away that there is it is deformed. They're trying to get that to focus a bit. So what was really interesting is that this battery was reading the voltage that I was expecting it to. It was reading as if it was good on the multimeter. It was showing up at 6.7 volts or something. So it had power. It was fully charged. But looking at it now, maybe this damage is causing it to not allow that voltage or amperage to flow with enough power or vigor to turn the wheels and get it going. It had enough juice to get the lights to come on, make all the sounds work, all these things, but it just couldn't get the motor to go. And, we had proven that the motor will go by hooking it up to this one. Anyway, that's where we're at. So hope you enjoyed the show. Hope you can use some of these tips to get these cars back going. These things go for $500, $600, $700. So it's great to have it back on the road here for only $35. We'll see you next time on Fixing Random Crap with Craig. Okay, this is what we see at the bottom of this thing. There might be a little bit of juice in it because when we... good job, Hudson. When this moves, you can hear... I can't really do it because it's on its side and the wheels won't move because it's lying on the wheel, but it sounds like the power steering is trying to work. It appears as though It's got lights, so there's a wire going to each of the headlights.
Daddy, I have cement here that'll dry.
Okay, great job, perfect. This is where everything goes up into the steering column. But it seems like the battery lives under the seat based on this. It's like all this stuff's coming from the battery, so we got to try and get into that. Yes, Hudson?
We're the fixers!
The fixers! All right. Okay, we're going to see if we can get at the battery, because I think if we charge it, that'll be the first thing. I'm sure this thing's getting a full tune-up. Great job, guys. Wow. Oh, I just got the drill. Good work, guys.
We need that drill.
Checking the tires, Ava? Okay, quick update. Figure we need to get to inspect the, all the inner workings, and those all live under the seat. It seems like on a lot of these seats they come off differently. Sometimes you just pull them off. Sometimes there's some screws. This one has a couple of tabs. There's a tab here, and one on this side, and they just kind of tuck into those spots. So if you reach in underneath the car, up into the wheel well, you can get your hand on that spot, and up under the rear bumper more likely. See, got my finger there. A little bit of soap there. We just cleaned it out because it was kind of gross. But you push in on those, and then you're able to pull up and get it out. So it's a couple of Phillips in this one. So we're going to take those screws out and we'll see. Okay, we got the seat removed. Do a quick little walk through here. We've got it plugged in. Red light showing that we're charging, or supposedly charging. We're going to find out if that's true. This is the motor over here. This is the circuit board. All the magic happens in there. And then this is the battery. I've taken this kind of piece off. There's just one Phillips screw that holds that down. But I want to be able to get access to these leads here and see what's happening at the battery. So, first thing we're going to do, after some research on YouTube, is we're going to make sure that our cable here is actually giving us the number of volts that we want. So I'm going to hold this here like this. I'm going to take my red lead here on my multimeter, put that right in there, let that focus a bit. And then I'm going to take the black one and I'm going to touch it just onto there. I don't know if you can see that. You can see down in the multimeter we got 12.3. So that's good. That seems right because this is supposed to be outputting 12 volts. So we're going to plug this guy back in over here. There we go. And the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take these leads off here, the wires, and we're going to test the voltage there to make sure that the 12 volts is continuing to make its way all the way to the battery. And then we're going to also see what's in the battery. Maybe the battery is not charging as well as it should be. This has been charging for a few days now, so it should be at max power. Anyway, more. Okay, we're back. I got the battery out. It's going to be really hard to show with only one hand. But basically, if I touch... So these things, we're on real tight and a little bit stuck, so I ended up just breaking them off. I'll put new connectors on there. But the idea is to test here and here and see what you get for voltage. And I was getting like 11.9, so I'm assuming that's pretty good. And when I went down here and tested this, I think I'll be able to show you this one maybe. So I put this in the black and this on the positive. In there and in here. Reading 6.83, and apparently we're supposed to see between 5 and 7. So that's good. I saw another video where somebody had to change their battery out because it was reading like 4. But this battery's charged. So that's good. So we're going to hook that back up and then move along to the next thing. Okay, so we have tested that we got all good signals coming through to charge the battery, and the battery itself is well charged. So just put a few new ones of these guys on there, and got it all fixed up, so that should be able to slide on and off better now. Okay, another thing that's important to check is this fuse. You will have a fuse, you should have one. This is like an extra. You pop this thing up and you can see the fuse that's in there, and check to make sure it's not blown. This one, I checked it and it looks just like this one on the outside. It doesn't look blown at all, so it's probably fine. Sorry it's a little loud here today. Just after Christmas, people are excited. Next, we're going to try to test the motor. So here we go. Okay, folks, quick update on where we're at. When I last left you a few days ago, the game plan was to try and test the motor to figure out if it was broken. I was having a hard time getting power to the actual leads, and I still wasn't totally sure about this battery here. So I did a couple things. I went to Home Depot and I picked up a new 6-volt battery. This was like $15, presuming I may have a use for that some other time in my life, if it doesn't help solve this problem. But it has helped me already. And I also bought a couple packs. I had to make these, but you can buy these ends. They come in a black and a red for like $5. So I bought a couple of those and just made a couple of alligator clip wires that I could use to test this out. So when I connected the 6-volt battery, so I had the red on the middle, which is the positive, as far as I know, because it had a cover on it, and then this I was assuming was the negative. When I connected those just with the alligator clips, straight on here, boom on there, and then the other end touching the lead in here for the red and the black, the positive and the negative, the motor works. The motor is fine. Another funny story. When you take this apart here, oh, careful. When you take this off, there's a bunch of gears in here. And I said to myself, ooh, better not drop that. And screw that up. Sure enough, I dropped it. So I'll give you a real good look of what it looks like in there. It should be this big one here. This one goes on first. It sits down lower. This thing I had upside down for a while. You need this pole sticking up, and if you put it on backwards, it doesn't work. Anyways, that was like 20 minutes trying to figure out how to put that back together after it all fell on the floor. Anyway, close it back up now, which is good. So I said, okay, well, the motor's fine. Interestingly, then I said, okay, well, what if I put my alligator clips here and just go straight from the battery, which is still charged. I just checked the voltage. So this thing is reading 6.5 volts exactly. This thing was 6.17, still over 6 volts, so you would think it would work. And I know I had it charged at, because I've been working on it, and it's been sitting here for a few days, it was up around 6.7, I think, if I remember from the earlier part of the video. It's like that should be enough to turn the wheels. But it turns out that it's not. When I do exactly the same thing, it does not work. So even this battery that is basically fully charged, is at almost 2 volts for a 6-volt battery, will not work. So there's something going on here. And if you look close, you can see that there's been some expansion here. Not sure what that happened. So I think that I'm now believing it is the battery. So it's risky because replacing the battery might not solve the problem. There still could be an issue at the gas pedal. There still could be an issue in here somewhere that's maybe not allowing the signals to get to the battery to send it to the motor. But at least I have ruled out the motor. The motor works. So the next thing will be, can I replace this battery somehow? Or could I even somehow run it on the 6-volt on this one under there and see if it runs properly? That might be the way to do it, actually. That's cool. I think that's going to be tomorrow's test. So more to come on that. Because if I can get this car to run properly and spin the wheel with this 6 volts in there, even though it's not going to fit right, the seat's not going to fit and stuff, then I would know, okay, well, if I just go get a new battery, it should be fine. So I think that's what I'll test next. Okay, more to come. Okay, we've got the motor back together, which is just screwing the 4 screws in on the plate. And just to show you how this goes on, that's the axle. This just kind of fits on here. Again, a little hard to do with one hand. And you can see that there's the hole there where the motor body goes through. I'm going to fish that wire through and then push it in. And then the wheel is just going to pop on, slide on here. And there's a couple of parts down below here. And this goes on. And then there's a little clip, which I will find. Anyway, I'll show you that one. Okay, wheels back on. What happens next is this little thing goes on, and then that thing, you squeeze the 2 tabs at the bottom, and that opens it up a little bit so you can slide it onto at the axle, and that secures the wheel in place. You don't have, in the end, I didn't need to take the wheel off because I could have done this test from in here. But anyway, I ended up taking the wheel off anyway, so now you know how to do that. Okay, I was so excited I couldn't wait till tomorrow. We're going to do this test right now. Wheels back on, trim's back on. This just has like 4 or 5 tabs. You just line up the tabs, click it in. I often need to give it a little twist one way or the other for those clips to set. So our wheels are back on. We have now bypassed the old battery by basically just putting this 6 volt that, I mean, it's not, I'm assuming it's not rechargeable. So I would only be able to use the car for a little while on this, but it also isn't going to fit in here, obviously. But this will allow us to do the ultimate test of determining whether it is indeed the battery that we have an issue with. So you'll see that I've taken the battery leads, the red to my red alligator clip, the black lead to my black alligator clip. We're all set. We're going to hotwire this bad boy again with the screwdriver key right here. Now I do expect it to start up, no problem. You'll hear all the sounds, but again, the issue has been that it hasn't been driving. So let's see. Okay, and we have nothing. I'm surprised I didn't get a sound there. Back off. Also there's another button under the dash. It's like an override. Okay, so nothing's working. Back to the drawing board. Okay, just for fun here, going back to the old battery again, and see what this does. What the heck is happening? Okay, so with the old battery plugged in, it will turn on the dash, run the sounds, run the headlights, no problem, but it won't drive. Still that clicking sound. But then when I plug the 6 volt fresh battery direct in, it will run the motor directly, but it can't even get a gig out of the car. I wonder if when I press the pedal, it works. Let's rewind. Okay, learn something else. See there? Positive, negative. I had them backwards. I figured the middle was a positive. I just needed to look at this stupid thing. The positive's on the other side. The other thing that's super weird is that, like, when I put these on to see what the voltage was coming out of this thing, when I still had it all wired up, it was down around like 2 when it was connected. So I don't know if the car was just drawing so much of the voltage that there wasn't much there. And then I disconnected the car from the battery. It was around like 5.2 or something. And then as I was holding, I wonder if I can show you guys this. Put this on the, there's my voltage. Now it's up to 5.771. It's just climbing back up. So I don't know if there's like a draw on the battery. Again, don't understand really how electricity works, but there's like some sort of big draw. Sorry, my hand slipped there. That's why those numbers changed. It's making its way back up to like 6. So I don't know how high it's going to get, but I'm going to see. I'm also going to try this again with these things wired the proper way and see if that makes a difference. So, okay, we're wired up again. We got the positive and the negative in the right place. We're going to turn the screwdriver. Fingers crossed. Okay. So we have sound now. Let's see if the wheel turns when I press the accelerator. Oh my god, it works. Oh. It works a bit, but not much. Still getting a bit of a clicking sound. It's trying real hard. Now, maybe now it's because the battery is too low. Let's do another test on the battery. See where we're at here. .78. I had understood that when the battery was between 5 and 7, it should be good enough. It is certainly above 5. Not sure. Okay, well, it's certainly sending a signal to the wheel now. But then it cuts out. All right. We're going to let this battery be overnight. See if it gets itself back up to 6 volts and try again in the morning. Let it rip.
So what do you... Oh.
Go. No, not backwards. We can move backwards. Go, run!
Don't hit the post.
Watch out!
Drive like your mother. Back up.
Not drive like that.
Turn.
Okay. There you go. Forwards.
Stop it.
That's it. You let go.
This way. Watch out!
Beep beep.
Beep, beep. Hear that? It follows. It just can say that.
She has your same face when you drive. Oh. Oh my goodness. You do drive like your mother.
I've never done that.
Never crashed into a fridge, but.